Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Power of Integrity podcast. I'm delighted to be able to bring this morning's guest, Farrah Khan, the mayor of the city of Irvine, our neighboring city. And Farrah, you probably can share this, but I knew at one time that Irvine was one of the largest cities in the U.S. I don't know where it stands and it ranks today, but I know it's also considered one of the safest cities in the U.S. And
Absolutely.
all that is because intelligent, intentional, purposeful work has gone on in the city. And I know it's in good hands in your reign. So maybe tell our audience a little bit about your journey before being the mayor and right up to the mayor. Anything that comes to mind regarding how you got there and where you plan on going.
Absolutely. So my background basically is in the biotech industry. So worked as a regulatory affairs manager for a biotech company up in Northern California. Did that for about 9 years before moving down to Southern California. And that's where I got into small business, which has been going on for about 20 years now here. And a little bit after the recession hit, I really got into volunteering some of my time for different causes and ended up meeting with a group of folks that were with the Newport Mesa Irvine Interfaith Council. They had monthly luncheons, and I started attending those. Really loved the work that they were doing. And after a few years, as their executive director was retiring, I was brought on as the executive director of the nonprofit. Did that for about 5 years, which kind of led me into, showing up at council meetings during the 3-minute public comments and sharing about the work we were doing, talking about housing and homelessness and hunger and how our communities, our faith communities, were working together to tackle some of these big issues. And I think that sparked my interest in politics because unfortunately, I felt that the council members didn't listen. No one ever responded back. No one called me back to learn more or get connected. And so I wanted to continue finding ways to stay involved in the local level. And I ran for the first time in 2016. I did not win that year, but I think I sparked a lot of interest from the community. And when I ran again in 2018, I came in first out of 12 candidates that were running. And then, of course, 2020, we're faced with not only the pandemic, but social justice issues and so much more, where I just felt compelled to really kind of bring our community together and take them in a direction where we were showing people that we cared and that we were going to do all the right things to help us out of the pandemic, really listen to our community's needs. And I think that was the right decision for me because I've enjoyed these past 4 years. As I'm terming out this December, I look back and I'm just grateful and honored to have had the opportunity.
Well, you have done a stellar job from all accounts and from all reports. And the fact that you have put a listening ear out there for folks when other folks just let things fall on deaf ears, that's remarkable how in public service, how few folks actually do that and listen to their constituents and take the time to listen to their constituents and incorporate those views into the agenda.
That is so important. I mean, I can't tell you the changes that we've made, some of the policies that we brought forward, when they come from the community, are just so much more impactful.
Yeah, would you just share? I know there's a little bit off base. Share the proudest things that you've done affecting the community and the thing and where and what their likely tail's going to be in terms of future implications.
I think one of the biggest change that I've seen from the time where I got on, or even before I got on to now, is the idea that the community feels that City Hall is their City Hall. You know, before people were a little shy to come to City Hall or didn't feel like there was a connection there, didn't reach out as much. But it was important for me to invite, whether it was our Cub Scouts or Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts and our senior groups, to come to City Hall, get a tour, get to know us. Inviting people to the office. I sat in the office a lot more than any of my colleagues did. Really letting people come in, and when they did come in for meetings, walk them through City Hall. let them know about the different departments and programs and resources we had, and kind of shifted the way we were looking at accessibility, because a lot of people in our city might not speak English as their native tongue. So providing language access, whether it was through our website or our reporting portals and other ways, really making it so that people, when they reached out, they felt that someone was going to be there understanding them. And that's something I'm super proud of, because now not only have we converted City Hall into one of our art galleries, which brings in more people, people feel very comfortable walking in, especially kids. They understand what City Hall is and what local government does, and they're so engaged. I think that's one of my most favorite things that has happened.
Well, remarkable. So, an open door policy, you become a tour guide and ambassador for the city, and showing folks around, and then being able to get them their primary language so that they don't have to stumble through trying to translate English into their language.
Exactly, exactly. A lot of fun. I think just seeing community at City Hall is great.
Yes. Now, integrity has to have played a role. That thread of integrity, your regulatory background when you were in Northern California, the time, the interfaith, the university time you've spent, your own small business involvement today in public office. Can you share an example how integrity has played a role in prioritizing things in your life?
I think, integrity just really comes from being transparent, being honest about what you're doing. And I'll share the very first example uh, of my time in public office. And it was when I wanted to do the smoking ban in public spaces. And I thought, oh my gosh, this is going to be an easy thing, put it on the agenda, get it going, and I ended up pulling it off the agenda because there were people that were reaching out saying that they didn't like it. There were hoteliers that were saying that it didn't really work for them. And so taking that time to meet with everyone that was disagreeing, I think is so important, because it made that ordinance just that much better, because their input was taken. We made sure we had carve outs for hotels that had international guests coming in, because I didn't realize that that was an important aspect of their business. And when you talk about integrity, you have integrity when you're able to have a conversation with those that you disagree with, and come to a place where you can both say, you know what, we can work together. And I think that was really a great learning experience for me, because then from then on, anytime I wanted to bring something forward, I was reaching out and letting people know, hey, this is something that's coming up. Do you have something to say about it? Come talk to me. Let's have a roundtable discussion. Let's get everyone at the table. Because then when you bring something forward, it's great to see community come together and say, you know what, we support this. And I think that's what integrity is all about. It's making sure that everyone's voice is heard, that when we're bringing something forward that's going to change, whether it's a policy or an ordinance, that it incorporates the voices, especially of those that may not understand it or maybe disagree with it.
Yeah, again, the word remarkable comes to mind, is understanding that we can have disagreement, but we can still collaborate and come together.
Oh,
Just,
absolutely. I made some
yeah.
great friends from those that really were opposing some of the things I was doing, because we realized outside of that one point, there's a lot more that we had in common, that a lot more we love doing together. So that's something that I hope more and more people in public office do.
Yes, we have a saying at our firm about make the voice of the client the voice you listen to. And it sounds like innately you knew to make the voice of your constituents the voice you listen to, and especially the opponents or the folks who are on the other side on a topic.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, it just makes for a stronger policy. It makes for building a stronger community.
Well, you've done that well. Regarding, sometimes in quiet hours behind closed doors, our integrity can get tested. Can you speak to an example when you can recall when your level of integrity was getting tested? Many people speak to the notion about integrity as doing things right, even when no one's looking. There probably was a time or two in your public office and maybe prior where folks challenged some of those things and made it difficult for you to stand your ground, but because you had that integrity, you did. Anything that comes to mind, Mayor?
Oh, absolutely. I think, one example that I'll share is pretty much when we had a opening in our city council, and the decision was being made whether we appoint someone or whether we hold a special election. And at that time, the information we were being provided by our city management team and our finance team was that, it would cost a little over $1.5 million to hold a special election in our city to fill that seat, or we can go the appointment route. And I can't tell you how many times behind closed doors, certain groups, people from my own party came and had conversations like, you need to do that special election. And for me, it was, how do I save our tax dollars? How do I be the right person to say, you know what, we're not in the best of places right now, and we need to save money. And if we can do the same thing by appointment, maybe that's the route I should take. And I got beat up a lot for that, for my own folks and people that I considered from my own party didn't like that decision at all. And but I did it because it was the right thing to do at that time. And so I always tell people that if you are not able to make the hardest decisions based off of integrity, and you cave in to folks that are maybe, putting something in your ear or telling you this is going to cost you, then you're not being fair to the general public. And I think that's important. I've taken a lot of hard votes and gotten hit over them, but I've also gotten reelected each time that I've run. And I think that shows that people care about people that are standing up for the right things and for the right reasons.
Yeah, it takes backbone to do the right thing when it's when there's pressure to maybe do something different.
Exactly.
Mayor, is you probably have seen this, and maybe it's not, maybe it's secondhand, maybe it wasn't your own involvement, but if you think about when someone lacked integrity, the counterparty lacked integrity, and how you saw that play out and what transpired in the end when an instance or a particular relationship lacked the full integrity it should have had.
You know, uh, um, I think it was last year, maybe. It was last year. And this is from someone within my own party lines. We were doing an RFP for EV chargers at the Great Park. And we were looking at establishing 250 EV chargers at the Great Park, really making it accessible for folks to get charged up while they were at a soccer game, or at their kids' lacrosse games and things like that. And
Yes.
staff had brought forward the top three businesses that they considered, after a very thorough interview process. The top three companies that they were recommending that we could choose from. And one of my colleagues decided to pull up someone that came in seventh, and bring them to the forefront of, this is the right person that we should be picking. And it was two of us on the council that voted against it, because we knew that after a thorough review, if someone is coming in seventh, there's an issue there. We voted against it, but three of my colleagues voted for this company that was stated to be located in Irvine, and that was going to generate up to $1 million in revenue for us in 1 year. And for me, I rely on the experts. I'm not the expert in EV charging, but if we have staff that have done their work and they're bringing forward recommendations, I want to choose from those top three vendors. And so I didn't feel good about it. And 1 year later, we're hearing a whole bunch of stuff about, how that vendor provided campaign contributions to this person. And 1 year later, we're not making almost $1 million in revenue. We made only $6,000 in revenue.
Oh my gosh.
And that's a huge loss for our city. And so, that's where integrity comes to play. And that's where it was visible that something was going on behind the scenes that shouldn't have been going on. And it's hurt us in the long run.
Yes, yes, and that could have. Well, I'm sure it tarnished the reputation of the individuals putting that forth. At the end of the day, it couldn't have been good for them.
No, no.
No, not at all. What when you're running a business, right? I heard small business as well. Um, where do you think integrity plays a role in two ways? One, in how it influences your leadership, and two, how it attracts customer loyalty.
So I think in business, you're out there, you want a good product, you want a product that people can rely on. And then I think that's where integrity comes in. It's again that transparent and an honest way of doing things. It's, you can make a mistake, but if you're transparent about it, there's more opportunities for you to fix it and build that relationship rather than just not even discount if a mistake is made, or trying to make more in a short term. That's always faulty. So for me, it's always been look at the long haul. Like, where do you want to be in the next 10, 20 years? And if you want to continue in that path, really do right by yourself, by your customers, by your products, and your services, because that's what's going to make you continue. And I think for businesses, especially small businesses, word of mouth is huge. And if you can continue for long term and have built a customer base, then those customers really trust you.
Yes, that's a theme that has been woven throughout many of these shows. Is don't play the short ball, play the long ball, and do things for the long run, and the outcome is usually
Right.
better, even if in the short term it can cost you some profit or maybe actual dollars and cents out of one's own pocket for doing things right.
That's right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes, and I would be remiss if I didn't ask you as we get to kind of the close of this, what what would you tell our young folks, the entrepreneurs, the aspiring professionals about how to incorporate integrity and why integrity is important to their path forward?
Oh gosh, for them, I would say don't be afraid of failure. I think a lot of people, uh, move forward with that mindset of I can't fail, and that's wrong. And then I share my own process in life. Like, I've shifted so many different careers and had so many obstacles come forward. But if you're true to yourself and you're true to your vision, and you carry yourself with that integrity, then no matter what happens, it's never a failure. It's just another opportunity for whether you shift what you're doing to a different direction or you improve upon it. But life has its ebbs and flows, and so you kind of want to ride those. And no matter where you are within your time period, whether you're starting out or you feel like you're just climbing up that ladder, if you're not doing it with integrity, just remember on the flip side that there are people that are watching you all the time, that are seeing the things you're doing. And when you're going downhill, those same people are going to be there looking at your downfall. So you don't want to be in that position. You want to be where, when you come up against a struggle, those same people are coming at you saying, "How can I help you?" And let's get you back on your feet. Let's figure things out together, rather than see you going in a direction that you're not really with integrity. Because even though you might think you're moving fast and you're doing great, there's always going to be some turning point, and you don't want to be left alone at that time.
Yes. Yeah, even the smallest of businesses, one employee, one customer, you're being watched all the time.
All the time.
Never mind, right?
Exactly.
Doesn't
Exactly.
have to be just in public office. It's in private practice and private enterprise for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Two of our CEOs that came on previously both spoke about their commitment to stewardship as a methodology for leadership. How do they steward and care for their employees and their customers in such ways that they both knew that they were the highest priority, not the agenda of the CEO, but the agenda of the all the constituents involved. And they both espouse that notion you're being watched all the time.
Oh
It's
yeah.
really,
It's
yeah,
so
and
true. And it's someone, I can't remember who it was, but someone had told me, like, be good to people as you're moving up, because those are the same people you're gonna face when you're coming down. So
yes, yes, right, absolutely. Well, Mayor, is there anything else you'd like to share with our group before we wrap up and give them an opportunity to get in touch with you if they wanted to? Is there anything else you might share on this topic or any other topic?
I think I would ask people just to be open to new opportunities. Don't limit yourself with, because I thought my career was just in biotech and that was it. But, the move from Northern California to Southern California changed things. The recession changed things. The pandemic changed things. And for me, it's always been, be open to what direction you're going in, and don't limit yourself, because you never know what opportunities might open up and what doors might open up and where you might end up being. I never thought I would be in political office ever. And this has been one of the greatest opportunities of my lifetime.
And thank you for your service. The neighboring city to where we reside in our offices here in Newport Beach, and I know there's wonderful collaboration between both cities for sure. And you've helped foster that and continue to foster that.
Absolutely.
We've had a delightful conversation with Mayor Farrah Khan of Irvine, California, one of the safest cities in the country. Mayor, if folks want to get in touch with you, what's the best way?
I would say email is the best way. I'm on social media as well, but email is probably best. And you can reach me at fkhan, Khan, at cityofirvine.org.
Wonderful. Well, Mayor Farrah Khan, you have been a delight. You've been a wonderful servant of the community. You've been a great guest on the power of integrity, and for sure, the power of integrity has played a wonderful role in your life. Thank you so much for coming on our show. I really
Thank you.
appreciate it, and I'm sure we're going to connect soon enough. Take good care, and bye for now.
The information presented in this program is provided for informational purposes only. The information is believed to be reliable, but no guarantee of accuracy is made or implied. Expressions of opinions are as of this date and are subject to change without notice. The information in this material is not intended as tax or legal advice. Please consult a legal or tax professional for specific information regarding your individual situation. This information does not constitute a solicitation or an offer to buy or sell any security. Investing involves risks, including possible loss of capital. Ralph Adamo is registered with the securities and are offered through Kovac Securities Inc., member FINRA, SIPC, 6451 North Federal Highway, Suite 1201, Fort Lauderdale, Florida, 33308. Telephone number 954-782-4771. Investment advisory services are offered through Kovac Advisors Inc. Integrity Wealth Management is not affiliated with Kovac Securities Inc. or Kovac Advisors Inc.